Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning, taxi operator charged after allegedly assaulting cop. A taxi operator has been charged with assault at a common law and assault occasioning bodily harm following an incident that occurred on King Street in Kingston on Wednesday. He is 36-year-old Sean Gray of Windsor Heights Central Village, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. Reports from the Central Police are that about 1:18 p.m., a policeman was on traffic duty in the area with a motorcycle as a service vehicle when he observed a Gray, who was driving a Honda step wagon, committed a traffic breach. On seeing the breach, the policeman approached the Gray. However, the accused reportedly drove the vehicle into the path of the policeman and used it to pin him between the two vehicles. This resulted in the policeman sustaining injuries to his right foot and right thumb. The cop, in trying to defend himself, allegedly fired shots in the direction of Gray. However, he was not hit. Gray then reportedly escaped, but was caught sometime later in the afternoon and was charged with the offenses. He is scheduled to appear before the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court on Wednesday. Mother and the stepfather, who is a pastor, pleaded guilty in abuse case of 7-year-old boy. A St. Catherine-based pastor on Thursday pleaded guilty to badly beating his 7-year-old stepson at the child's school. He pleaded guilty to child abuse and cruelty to a child, while the boy's mother, who did not report the incident, pleaded guilty to aiding and abetting. Their bails were further extended by acting senior parish court judge Janelle Nelson Gale until May 12, when they are to be sentenced. The court heard that in February 2024, the man went to the boy's school where he grabbed the child and punched him repeatedly in his upper body, to the shock of teachers who were present. A report was subsequently made to the Police's Center for Investigation of Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse, which launched an investigation. The pastor was arrested at his church while he was delivering a sermon. He was subsequently charged with child abuse and cruelty to a child. The boy's mother was charged with aiding and abetting child abuse after the investigation revealed that, despite her knowledge of the abuse, she failed to report it to the authorities. Both parties made numerous court appearances until their guilty pleas on March 13. Superintendent Coleridge Minto injured in motor vehicle crash. Superintendent Coleridge Minto, head of the St. Elizabeth Police Division, is being treated at hospital after he was involved in a motor vehicle crash sometime between 4:30 and 5 o'clock Thursday afternoon. The news understands that Superintendent Minto was heading to Westmoreland when his vehicle was involved in a collision with another in the vicinity of Jack's Gate. Superintendent Minto's condition is not known. The news has learned that several police officers converged at the hospital. Anthony Anderson is Jamaica's next ambassador to the U.S., R.J. Marks appointed to Senate. Foreign Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith has announced the appointment of former Commissioner of Police Major General Anthony Anderson as Jamaica's ambassador-designate to the United States of America. General Anderson will also be Jamaica's permanent representative-designate to the Organization of American States. His appointment comes after Ambassador R.J. Marks revealed that she was demitting office at the end of this month. The government announced Thursday afternoon that Ambassador Marks has been appointed to the Senate. Ambassador Marks has served as Jamaica's ambassador to the U.S. from 2010 to 2012 and 2016 to present. Finance Minister's pro-box comment sparks criticism. A comment by Minister of Finance Fievel Williams in relation to the purchase of a Toyota Probox motor vehicle is sparking criticism. Speaking with the news on Wednesday evening, Minister Williams outlined that employees stand to receive an additional $2,000 per month from the announced increase in the income tax threshold. The minister had announced while opening the budget debate on Tuesday that the income tax threshold would be increased to $2 million over a 3-year period. The threshold will move to $1.8 million come April 1, then to $1.9 million next year, and to $2 million the following year. Providing an example of how the savings could be used, Mrs. Williams said after 3 years, employees would have a tidy sum that could go towards the purchase of a Pro Box. But the comment by the finance minister has been criticized by some social media users as being out of touch. Others have viewed the example as disrespectful. An Instagram user said $2,000 for 3 years, look at minimum wage, cost of living, our daily lives are in recession, or health care, but the real question should have been, would the minister be able to save $2,000 for 3 years if the table turns? An additional $2,000 per month for 3 years would amount to roughly $72,000. Concerns have been raised about a general increase in prices and a reduction in the purchasing power of money. Economist Keenan Faulkner believes the finance minister may have been better able to illustrate her point had she used another example.
The overall principle upon which increases in the income tax threshold are based is that consumers make decisions at the margin. Now, what I mean by that is if I go to the supermarket and I see an item for, let's say, $800, and then now I see the same item for around $770, I'm going to take the one that costs $770, even if it might take me a little extra longer to look for it. So that additional $30 savings, it adds up. It can do something, but it probably can't do everything. It can't do a lot on its own. And that's how persons will start to think about the extra. I don't think the benefit should be oversold, that it is necessarily life-changing. It's just intended to offset a particular expense where, okay, if this cost $2,000, I didn't have it previously, but now I do, and I can be able to cover it. We don't generate enough wealth overall, and because of the large size of the informal economy, you're not going to find that many persons contribute to income tax in any event. So, because Jamaica's salary profile is among the lowest in the Caribbean. So we'll continue to have this conversation repeatedly, where we now have to think about increases and decreases in increments, and whether that can now keep up with the cost of living.
During his contribution to the budget debate on Thursday, opposition spokesman on finance, Julian Robinson, also took a swipe at the finance minister over the Pro Box comment. Mr. Robinson joked that his constituents have been asking since Wednesday night where they could possibly get that vehicle at that cost.
So, Mr. Speaker, on my way here from last night, my constituents have been inundating me. From last night to today, they have asked me to say to you, to ask you, Minister, from last night to today, they want to know where they can get the Pro Box that costs $2,000 per month. That if you put it aside, where they can buy that Pro Box. Because they say they want that Pro Box. That when you put aside $2,000 a month for 3 months, you can pay down on that Pro Box. So they've asked me to ask you, because they are ready to buy that Pro Box. So I want to ask the minister, please tell me where that Pro Box is.
19-year-old charged with allegedly stealing millions worth of jewelry. A 19-year-old was arrested on Tuesday at his home in Stony Hill, St. Andrew, for allegedly stealing jewelry that was reportedly worth millions of dollars from a house in his community between September and October 2024. Photographer Christian Isaac Samuels is charged with housebreaking and larceny. Reports from the Stony Hill police are that a woman securely locked her home in September 2024 and went overseas. She returned and realized that her house had been broken into and the jewelry was removed. The woman confronted Isaac Samuels, who confessed that he had stolen and sold the items. She reported the matter to the police. Isaac Samuels was then arrested on March 11 and charged a day later following a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. He is scheduled to appear in the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court on Thursday. Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.